My mother has a secret child, and she has cleverly hidden this secret child, her firstborn, so well that even in plain sight, we couldn't see her. Oh, did I say this woman is a staunch Christian and a leader of women's group in church? And my father believes she's a saint. And now I despise her. It's been years since I discovered this family secret. I have not looked at mother the same. How did I know? Well, listen. A secret child is not the kind of thing you would expect from the family I come from or the mother who raised me. I grew up the first of 5 siblings in a pretty decent middle-class home. 2 parents, structure at home, discipline, and lots of love. Oh, did I add there has always been abundance of food? My father had a great career, which allowed my mother to be a stay-home mom. My dad? He is the kindest, most generous man I know. My father is loving, patient, and wise. He believed in leadership by example and always led us by his deeds. He taught me how love should look like in relationships by the way he loved my mom. My mother? She always has a prayer on her lips. She was and still is Mama Bear. And she fiercely protected her cups, made sure we had the best she and dad could offer. And she taught me to always pray. She would always insist to me to speak the truth no matter what. She would say, let your reputation precede you. Let people take your word to the bank. I used to have the utmost respect for her. She is not the kind of woman you would think would have a love child, let alone hide her. My grandmother, the epitome of grace and warmth. She lived a few hours from where I was raised and would always visit us with baskets laden with foodstuff. She was a baker, so of course, she never visited without baskets of delicious bread and pies. I adored her because she raised my mom, and since mom was perfect in my eyes, so was grandma. My big cousin, she lived with my grandmother and helped her with the baking business. The age gap between us is about 15 years. She was always so shy and unsure of herself, and she was always working, cleaning, cooking, kneading, washing. Not a word of complaint ever escaped her lips. She has the most beautiful smile you ever saw, the most beautiful melanated skin I have ever seen, smooth and firm. My cousin is a gentle spirit, not a bad word out of place. I loved when she visited with grandma because she would play whatever game I wanted and indulge me to no end. As I grew older, I began to notice my cousin's deficiencies. I taught her how to use cutlery at table, how to present herself with confidence, to speak up and show up with self-assurance. I tried to rub off some sass on her, but she is modest by nature, so I failed again and again. She never spoke about her parents. She would always say she didn't know them whenever I asked. My grandmother was the only mother she knew. It always saddened me why she didn't go past junior high school. She said she would have loved to be a nurse, but no one would pay for her education. I once asked my mother why she didn't help her further her schooling. Her response was, well, she failed her junior exams. Of her patronage, grandma said one of her distant relatives had a child too young and didn't want her, so she adopted the child. It always saddened me that she didn't know her birth parents, because I couldn't imagine not knowing mine. Around the time, I was about 20 years old. I was in my 2nd year in medical school when my mother and I visited grandma. She was old, frail, and bedridden. We stayed by her side and talked, laughed and cried. It was hard to miss the end was near for her. Then abruptly, she found an excuse to get rid of me. Go and get me grapefruits from the roadside. Make sure you buy me grapefruits before you show up by this bedside, she said. Listen, I didn't get to medical school by being a doofus. I instantly knew she wanted to divulge something to my mom, which she didn't want me to hear. So I made a show of running to go do the errand, slamming doors and banging gates as I went. My mother even came out to make sure I was gone, which heightened my interest in whatever was about to be said. So of course, I circled back and crouched behind the window. That's when I heard the secret child bombshell. I have little time left. You have to tell Mensima she is your daughter. I heard my grandma say, no, I cannot. Too much time has passed. This isn't about Mensima and me. What about my family, my husband? What would I tell him? My dear mom protested. My jaw fell to the floor. I was sick to my stomach and couldn't even listen anymore. All this while she was preaching virtue, she was living vice. My mother had a child and hid her. Secret babies, a secret child. My beloved cousin has been my big sister all this while. And all the while we lived well and enjoyed being children. She slaved away for what? Oh, hot tears stung my eyes and wound down my cheeks as I wandered the village. I was looking for my sister. I found her selling pastries in the market square. I collapsed in her arms and cried for all she had lost, for all she had been deprived. Mensima, you are my sister. My mom is yours too, I said, finally regaining composure. She smiled. I was confused. Did you hear what I just said? I asked her. She smiled broader and held me tighter. Bless her heart, she knew. She had known for a long time. She chose to let sleeping dogs lie, the artificial pleas. I confronted my mother one Sunday when she harassed me to go to church. What is the point of all that church going when you live a lie? She said, excuse me, young lady, what did she say? She inched closer and demanded. Who is Mensima, mother? I spat out. She froze. That's right, I heard you and grandma. Really, mom? Secret babies? Don't you dare let your father hear this, she hissed. But she needed not to warn me. I had and still have no desire to break my father's heart. It is not my story to tell. It's hers. And if she intends to be a coward to end, that's a cup of tea, not mine. Yep. As I write this, my mother has a 45-year-old secret child, and my dad is none the wiser. It is not my secret to tell, but I can tell you this. Where there used to be respect for her, I now have disdain. The best I have been able to do is love my sister, push her towards opportunity, and be her family in any way I am able to be. I am a practicing psychiatrist. I am all too familiar how mental and emotional wounds manifest in behavior and choices. My sister has zero self-worth, which she drapes in excessive servitude and kindness. She has no boundaries. She would tolerate any and everything just to be accepted. My sister is a classic case of abandoned child syndrome. I am trying, God knows I am trying to lift her up, to teach her how to show up for herself and believe in her own magic. But there is void. The elephant in the room, she has a wound that has not healed. A motherless child growing up with her mother right under her nose. My mother sat Mensima and myself down years ago to explain and apologize. But that was it. An explanation justifying her actions and a meaningless apology. An apology that basically say, I am sorry, things are like this, but I need things to remain as they are. What is an apology unaccompanied by changed behavior, huh? Now let me give you a little background about how this whole thing came about. At age 15, a teenage girl went from house to house selling fresh bread made by her mother. A grown man in the village to inspect cocoa beans decided the little girl would do in the absence of his wife. When the teenager was discovered with child, that agricultural inspection officer was long gone. Her mother sent her away to have her child, all the while telling anyone who would listen that her daughter was away in school. When her granddaughter came, grandmother adopted her with an elaborate lie that she was the unwanted baby of a distant relative. My mother, thus, was given a second chance to live as a child. And then as a young woman as she was, she met my father, a dashing young man, a computer whiz, well-educated and well-traveled. When he asked her to marry him, she asked her mother, "What do I do about my daughter?" My grandmother said, "Do nothing. Say nothing. Go live your life. She is not yours." My grandmother actually dug the foundation of the mess that has become Mensema's life. And go she did, and live she did, free and unencumbered with the burdens of her fatherless daughter. So while she held my hand and showed me how to trace letters and numbers, her firstborn kneaded dough and hogged bread, just as her mother and grandmother before her had done. While our family took exotic vacations to Cancan, Zanzibar, and New Zealand, Mensema stayed behind with grandma to house sit. Mother will never openly admit it, but the life my siblings and I have had was bought and paid for by Mensema's abandonment. She has 2 medical doctors, a lawyer, and a media guru for siblings, and yet cannot properly read a full sentence. The past does not hurt or annoy me as much as the present. I know we cannot change the past, but we can change the present to impact the future. But not my mother. She is too concerned about society to disturb the waters, so her daughter remains on the outside looking in. I rope my sister in every way I can, but it isn't my heart she needs. It's her mother's. But it appears that one thing she had to accept, she will never have it. When she's around our mother, she plays her assigned role, the grateful bastard, paying homage to the woman whose mother raised her. Mensema never talks about her parentage, never expresses any emotions or thoughts about it. She says she's made peace, but my doctor's instinct tells me that is deflection in order to avoid the pain. She still finds the grace to smile and have joy. For all she's had to live with, that is a great feat. I hope you heal, abandoned child. Heal. Confront the truth and heal. Unsightly though she may be, this stark naked truth brings clarity and awareness. And how does one heal that which you are not aware of? Oh my goodness, this is such a heartbreaking story. Like, I really do not know what I would have done if I was in the shoes of Mensema. You know, Mensema has been through a lot. She is going through the whole emotional trauma thing. She is deeply broken. You know, sometimes when something eats you up to the extent that you have no control, you have no solution, you end up suppressing it and you find your own ways of overcoming the situation. And that is the same way Mensema is going through. And I really don't know what I would have done if I was her. Let me know what you think. If you were her, would you have spilled the tea? Would you have confronted your mother? Would you have actually even seen your mother's husband to talk to him that, hey, this is my mom and I don't understand why she is treating me this way? I mean, it really baffles my mind. The least the mother could have done is to take her to school, let her live a good life, like give the grandmother something better to do instead of selling in the market, you know. I really don't understand that part, because no matter how hard it is for her to have not loved her daughter, it doesn't warrant that kind of hatred. It doesn't warrant that kind of, because no matter what you do, the person has come out, Mensema has come out of your womb, for God's sake, and you didn't end up aborting the baby. You have given birth to the baby. It really baffles me. We will never understand her. No judging, just share your opinion in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. This is a new format, doing hair and doing makeup, doing nails all along, whilst bringing you good stories for you to relax your brains and then have a good time. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video with another intriguing story. So do check out my other hair tutorials, my nail tutorials, my makeup tutorials. I have a lot in store for you on this channel. So thank you so much for watching. Like, share and comment. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.